From a developmental perspective, what happens when a child is exposed to sexual content, especially violent sexual content, before they're ready to process it?
Yeah, it's traumatic. It's trauma. Like, really, if we break it down, definition of trauma I really like is that when we as humans, whether you're a kid or an adult, when you're overwhelmed by something and you don't have the internal or the external resources to cope with it, it creates trauma. That's exactly what happens when we have a child and say no one has talked to them about sex. They have no context for this. They absolutely should never be seeing sexual violence. It's never going to be a healthy thing for them. And yet they stumble upon an endless amount of this content that they could watch for hours and hours and hours and hours. If we put it in different terms, imagine we had a 10-year-old and we were like, you know what's okay for you to do this afternoon? You can watch someone be raped in real life, right? We would never say that's okay. Every adult would be like, that's traumatizing. That's not okay. That's abuse. But it's okay to do it on your phone? Why? Right? Like, there is no difference in terms of harming a child. And so I think developmentally, of course, it's going to create early sexualization. We see it creating higher rates of anxiety and depression. It creates disturbances in relationships with kids in terms of with their peers, with their families. A lot of kids will become very isolated because they don't know what to do with this trauma they're experiencing and seeing all of this violent porn, so they aren't interested in the things they previously were, or they start acting out what they're seeing. So developmentally, it really, for a lot of kids, throws them off and down this path of a lot of mental health and even behavioral issues because they were not meant to see that type of content. And I would even argue for adults, there are multiple things that we're seeing as a fallout for that as well. So it's not like it's healthy for adults either. But for kids, you could definitely argue, right? There's so many, I would say, abusive elements to it that showing a kid pornography falls into that category of abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. So often I think parents, caregivers, adults fear having conversations about this with young people because they're afraid to spark curiosity in something that they think maybe they don't have a curiosity in already. Can you help walk us through the difference between normal curiosity and behavior that signals harm or exposure? And what are some of the things to pay attention to?
We have to talk about this. We help create protection when we talk about this, but there is a way to do it, that is developmentally appropriate. That being said, we are sexual beings as humans, and so there are going to be different types of sexual behavior throughout childhood that are very normal. Little kids are curious. They're going to ask lots of questions about body parts and where babies come from and all those kind of things. That's totally normal, absolutely normal. And even little kids, they might want to see your body parts. They want me to show you theirs. That does not mean anything has happened to them. They're just trying to learn, and that's how they move through the world. Of course, if we think about kids going through puberty and kind of going into their teenage years, again, it's going to be normal that they're curious about sex. It's going to be normal that they're interested in their peers in a sexual way. That's not abnormal. That doesn't mean they're addicted to pornography or anything like that, right? Where it becomes abnormal. It's never normal for a little kid to be looking at pornography, so that's definitely an indicator something's going on. And it's never normal for kids to be sexually violent or harmful or coercive towards other kids, no matter what developmental stage they're in. That's not normal behavior. It's not normal when there's aggression or telling kids to keep secrets or things like that. And so I think there are behaviors that are normal and there are behaviors that are not, especially when they get into the secret keeping, the harming, the coercive, the forcing, the manipulating. That being said, we have to have conversations with kids about pornography because, like we talked about, they're going to see it most likely. And I think what's really important to know is that research has shown if you talk to kids about pornography, it does not make them more curious to go look at it. If anything, it's empowering them, of, hey, ask me anything. This is a safe space. And that's going to help mitigate, instead of them feeling like, I don't understand this thing about sex, let me go Google it. It's, hey, I can go talk to mom and dad because we've talked about this a million times and this is a safe space for me. And that's what we want. We want them to go to their trusted caregivers to have these conversations instead of going to the porn industry.